right, on this Monday morning, let's talk about what happened last night. I'm sure you saw it live right here on Fox News Channel. Former President Donald Trump made one last pitch to voters in the world's most famous arena yesterday.
So who was there? Huck Hogan, Dana White, and Elon Musk all sharing their support for Trump before the packed Madison Square Garden crowd got a surprise appearance from former First Lady Melania Trump.
Envision a wonderful America where the seeds of security, prosperity, and health are sown once again for benefit of our families. Let us charge together with a shared vision that builds on American greatness. Let's seize this moment and create a country for tomorrow, the future that we deserve. And now, please welcome our next Commander-in-Chief, my husband, President Donald J. Trump.
And the former president sharing a message of hope with that massive crowd.
And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. I'm asking you to dream big again. We're going to dream big again. We haven't been dreaming big at all. This will be America's new golden age. It's going to happen quickly, too, very quickly. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've done a terrible job, that crooked Joe Biden has done a terrible job. You've destroyed our country. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. Get out. You're fired. On issue after issue, Kamala broke it, but I will fix it. So we're going to fix it. But we're just not running against Kamala. I think a lot of our politicians here tonight know this. She means nothing. She's purely a vessel. To save our country, for the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It belongs to you. No city embodies the spirit, energy, and potential of the American people more than where we are gathered tonight. We want to win our country, but we also want to win New York and make it safe and strong and beautiful and affordable and vibrant again. And we're going to do that.
You know, you saw it all here yesterday on the Fox News Channel, and he opened his address, his 78-minute address, with something that we had suggested that every candidate should do, making their closing argument, and he became another one who did it. But it was very effective because it really harkens to how Americans are feeling. And he said, essentially, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And that's a decision everybody's got to make as you see him walk in with a very rare Lee Greenwood actually singing the song live, God Bless the USA, just off on the side of the stage. It was cool.
That was his opening pitch.
Yeah.
Are you better off today or 4 years ago? And the crowd went crazy. Look at that, y'all. I mean, it was packed.
I think the most effective thing that he
people.
did, though, even though you have this massive crowd in front of you, and if you talk with people that are in the conservative movement, they feel really good about the chances of the former president winning. They think they are ahead. But he made it very clear that the people still need to go out there and
Every
vote.
vote counts.
And he did that poll of who's already voted, who is going to vote. And I think that's important right now.
I think that in talking to some people higher up with the campaign, I said, what's the focus? And they said, it's in New York. It's at the world's most famous arena, but it's to the country. Mm-hmm. If they had their druthers, they would have had a little bit closer to Election Day, but in Madison Square Garden, there's only so many vacancies.
Right.
The Knicks and Rangers do hope to play there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it. And
did he try to get the rally closer to the election?
That was the hope, to get a little bit closer, but it's still pretty cool on Sunday right before. Yeah. But the beginning of the closing is today. But it is the speech that they wanted to outline the problem, but talk optimistically about I can fix it. Mm-hmm. So, okay, you're going to watch in the perfect world everything get a little bit more optimistic all throughout the week. Mm-hmm. So, and that's just it. And to put together that roster of people, I want you to take a listen. If you had a chance, if Sunday night didn't work for you to be able to watch this here, just know this, 20,000 plus inside, probably another 10,000 outside.
Yeah, people couldn't
And
get
think
in.
about this. In 2016, it was known like the protests. Trump wins, protests on the outside. Trump comes here, there's protests outside Trump Tower. There were no protesters
look at
yesterday.
that, Brian.
Look at this outside.
People were at all the bars and the restaurants celebrating and watching it online, too, or watching it on TV.
I think those are folks who are lined up to go inside.
Right. But there are thousands on the outside
There were a lot
still.
that couldn't make it in.
Yeah, so take a listen to some of the moments that stood out last night.
But today, Trumpomaniacs, the energy in here is something like I've never felt. The energy of all these Trumpomaniacs is the most powerful force in the universe. And today, this is Donald Trump's house, brother.
He's proven to be the strong leader allies and adversaries alike must respect. He's proven he loves this country so much, he's literally put his life on the line for it.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark, gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that. We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook.
Our hometown, where architectural symbols of strength, courage, and unity create a canvas for the world's undisputed capital of industry. Where titans of finance, fashion, and entertainment convene among an iconic range of superior design, structures, and artistic accomplishments. And American ingenuity blossoms among determined citizens who race across city streets and between offices, striving for success. It is you who are the heartbeat of this great metropolis.
So when I'm walking around the city, typically if someone supports, the former president or support us, you'll get in New York City like a nice little thumbs up. People are very quiet about it. Hey, whisper. I watched the speech from the area, but I landed, and by the time I got back to my building, the lobby was full with red hats. And I go,
is that
what
right?
the-
Really?
What? I had no idea that some of my neighbors supported the former president
had gone to the rally?
They had gone to the rally.
There you
It's
go.
something that you typically don't see in New York City. And
Right.
the sea of red hats in my lobby, it just really shocked me. But this was an opportunity for a once-in-a-life opportunity. A Republican came to New York City, and all those Republicans in the city showed up.
That's right. At MSG, normally known as Madison Square Garden, yesterday, you can see the New York Post cover is MAGA Square Garden. The guest roster, and we featured that for you right there, showing a lot of the stars, including Elon Musk. It felt
He's loving it. He
This
loves
guy that
it.
puts people into space. When they were chanting his
Right.
name, he looked moved.
It felt a lot like the RNC reunion. You saw a lot of people you saw at the RNC right there. Of all the comments, however, of the warm-up acts, there was a comic who made some offensive comments about Latinos and Puerto Ricans and African Americans and others, and he's already been denounced by Republicans and by the campaign. But unfortunately for the Trump campaign, the Harris campaign has denounced it and mobilized influential Puerto Rican influencers like Bad Bunny, who's very big in the Puerto Rican community, in the Latino community. He put out something on Instagram, and so did Ricky Martin, with millions of followers. And he wrote, or he said, "This is what they think of us, vote for Kamala Harris." A Trump advisor said the speaker's remarks were not vetted. We're going to talk to Caroline Levitt. She's going to be with us in a moment about that.
Pre-show. That was part of the pre. That was 2 hours before the president.
The warm-up.
It's amazing. The cover of the New York Times. Trump at Garden, a closing carnival of grievances, misogyny, and racism. Oh, only somebody who works for the Harris campaign and pretending to be a reporter for the New York Times would write something like that if you watched that 3 hours or 4 hours. You had to flip around to get it. We didn't take all of it live. But you don't point out that RFK, the most famous Democratic family, actually was one of the featured speakers around the most famous inventor in the world, Elon Musk. That stands out. No, a comedian with a successful podcast said some off-color.
But you lose goodwill when before the rally even started, they called it a Nazi rally. Before they even took the stage, they had already said that it was going to be a racist rally. Number two, maybe it's just me, Ainsley. I have a dark sense of humor. And so maybe this was not the appropriate format for the comedian to be there, but it's comedy.
Look, I mean, they're focusing. Did y'all watch the interview with Jake Tapper and J.D. Vance over the weekend? They're focusing on the wrong things. I mean, look at that crowd. It seats 20,000 people, 19,500 people. Sold out, people out on the street. And I was reading, it was tens of thousands of people that were outside, yeah. Mike Johnson was there, the Speaker of the House. Vivek was there. Tulsi spoke. RFK Jr., Hulk Hogan, Dr. Phil, Dana White, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Melania, Lee Greenwood was on stage with him singing, as y'all mentioned, and he and Melania went over and thanked him.
Did you say Melania?
I did.
I wonder, wouldn't it be great? Tomorrow we're having a live show in this room. Oh, look at that. She's going to be here live.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Way, we carry, Tucker Carlson was also great. He said, I cannot believe I'm sandwiched in between RFK and Elon Musk.
Right. Well, and so you were talking a little bit about, and Brian, about the messaging from the other side, how the Republicans, or rather the Democrats, are trying to portray Donald Trump as fascist.
Enemy within. They will not lay off that.
Well, particularly the fascist stuff, which comes from John Kelly and some other people talking about when he was president. One of Kamala Harris's biggest super PACs, it's called Future Forward. They warned Democrats that attacking Trump as a fascist is less effective in the final 8 days than if you actually highlight her proposals and how they would help. So in other words, stop with the attacks. Talk about how she will change America's life.
Well, because it's baked in. I mean, they've been doing this for 10 years against the guy. The American people that feel that way about him, they've already made their decision. But don't kid yourself. If a Democrat would have went to a Republican stronghold and packed a house like last night, the coverage would have been much different. If Kamala Harris would have been in a Republican Tulsa and had a stadium full of supporters there, the coverage would be, do you see the momentum here? Do you
she was in Texas last week with Beyonce.
Well, she was in Houston, Texas, which is a Democrat stronghold. So it's not really different. Pick a conservative-leaning stronghold, and then we'll see the coverage.
Yeah, by the way, isn't it interesting? Beyonce didn't sing. Evidently, people were upset by that.
People were.
Wouldn't you be?
They thought they were going to get a free
Willie
performance.
Nelson said, everybody else sang. And the other one was Amber Rose said, Beyonce stole her speech. Amber Rose is the star of the RNC that seemed to cross party lines, because basically she stole the text of my speech. I remember when President Bush was out, did his second term, lame duck, done. John McCain knew that at that point, President Bush, 43, he's much more popular now, was not popular. It's no big deal. Bush said, hey, listen, I'm not helping you. Go do your own thing. Don't even refer to me. But evidently, Joe Biden is such a poor loser and can't figure out why he's not out there. No one explained to him how much he's slipping and what a terrible president he's been. Look what Axios' headlines are. I mean, look right now. They say that Biden has not been asked, much to his chagrin, to do anything. Harris stiff arms, gives the Heisman, basically, to Biden.
And Axios is reporting that the Harris campaign keeps saying to his team, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, right.
We'll let you know.
But sometime in December.
He just did an event. He showed up in Pittsburgh and just did an event. And he just screams out what a loser Donald Trump is. That's not helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have Obama out there, but not the current president.
Well, they have everybody out there for her.
True.
And I think there's a difference. When people came to Houston, Texas, they came to see Beyonce. When people came to MGM last night, they came to see Donald Trump. And I think that's the difference. You have a candidate that is at such a deficit when it comes to popularity that they're needing every single celebrity to galvanize support for her. You don't see the same thing on the other side.
Well, the reason that Joe Biden is being snubbed, the number 39. That is his approval rating right now. If it was in the 40s or 50s, maybe, but 30s? Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, grow up. Doesn't he understand politics?
Oh, he can't grow much older, just saying.
Good point, Steve. Thank you for checking me. That's true. Right. We'll keep you up to date on how old he is.
This is true.
All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.